Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to go through some live trades that I took on Friday, April 14th. So I took these trades with SPX, and this is kind of my go-to scalping strategy for the market. So I'll go through exactly what I look for. And then I was using NASDAQ and ES futures heavily on this specific day. Well, I have been using NASDAQ and ES futures heavily regardless, but I'll kind of go through exactly what I look for in futures, what I look for in the VIX, and then what I look for in the specific stock that I'm looking to trade. So I'll go through both of these plays with you guys, my strategy, and kind of what my mindset is when I'm looking to take a play. As always, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, and let's go ahead and get started. Alright, y'all, so let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to pull up ES's chart and NASDAQ's chart as well as SPX and kind of show you guys what I was looking for. So if we look at ES's chart here, you can see that at open, ES had double bottom. So you can see here in the pre-market, it created this low in between 41.65 and 41.60. We have a level at 41.62. Created a low here, bounced. This is your neckline for the double bottom at 41.76. And this is that second double bottom at that 41.62. So ES had a double bottom. That is a bullish pattern. So you signified by two levels of support and then your neckline. So you can see that on that second touch right before market opened, ES started to bounce out of that double bottom. So it was looking bullish overall to me. I still wanted ES to clear pre-market high at 41.76 prior to entering SPX or anything else. At the same time, if we go ahead and look at NASDAQ's chart here, what I wanted to see on the NASDAQ is for the NASDAQ to clear its VWAP. So if we look here at 9:30, this is the 9:30 open. At 9:35, you can see that the NASDAQ started to have bullish momentum and break its VWAP level for the upside. What I was looking for SPX's previous day high was 41.50. So you can see here that previous day high, if I zoom out here, this was on Thursday. SPX made a high at 41.50, and that is what I was watching for calls to the upside. We did have a small gap to fill right here on SPX, but I wasn't comfortable taking that because it was so close to the previous day high. So the gap fill was above 41.42 to around 41.46, and then the next level of resistance was 41.50. So I would have rather just waited for the previous day high, as that is a more significant level of resistance to take and a better entry point to take. SPX was on the initial move up. So whenever it's on an initial move up, so this is from the bottom here, the bounce off of its 41.40 level filled the gap, and it's still in that initial move up. So whenever a stock is in that initial move and it's pretty much made the entire move up, you don't want to enter at the top of that move. What you want to wait for is for a pullback. So as you can see, as SPX pulled up to that 41.50 level, it then pulled back. So this pullback candle is a high probability setup here. Off of the initial move up, you don't want to enter. You wait for the pullback, retest that previous level of resistance, and then you look for an entry. At the same point, at 9:35, this is ES's candle here, so it was approaching pre-market high. So I wanted to see ES futures clear that pre-market high prior to me taking an entry on SPX. So that is the main reason why I haven't entered. I thought I entered earlier on SPX, but I hadn't entered on SPX yet because ES futures had not cleared pre-market high. I wanted to see ES futures on the 5-minute open above the pre-market high into the next level of resistance, and then NASDAQ futures to also open above its VWAP level into the next level of resistance. So I had not entered SPX here. So now that I didn't enter on SPX, the next entry would be high of day break. So the high of day here is 41.53. That's what I would wait for on the next entry as ES and NASDAQ break both of my levels. So at the 9:39 candle here, I'm going to forward a little bit of this, I think I enter a little later. Yeah, so this is the pullback. So you can even see it here on SPX on the 1 minute. This is the initial leg up on SPX, pulls back, perfect pullback. You can enter on the pullback too as it retests 41.50. I was comfortable waiting for the breakout instead of the pullback and retest. So waited for the pullback, retest, enter on the breakout as ES and NASDAQ futures break out as well. We're at 9:42 here, so let's go ahead and see what happens. Forward a little bit more. Okay, so at 9:43. All right, here at 9:43, SPX starts to pick up towards that high of day. We can see here, move up, really clean pullback back to the 41.50 level on SPX. Definitely could have Definitely could have entered on that pullback here. This is the 944 candle. I believe this is where I enter on SPX here, as both futures break above. There we go. There's my entry on SPX here. Entered the 41.50 calls at $13 a piece at 9.44. So let's go ahead and take a look. This is your 9.44 candle. Clean open above previous day. Clean open above high of day here. Nice bullish move up. My targets on the upside were 41.60 and 41.64. So above 41.60, SPX has a very, very small gap to 41.64. So those are my two targets on SPX, with 41.60 being the main target where I would scale out 80 to 90% of my profit. And if we see here at 9.40, perfect move on ES futures, broke out of that pre-market high and then was breaking out of the 4180 level, which is the next level of resistance up on ES futures. Really nice move. So the 944 is where I entered. If we look at NASDAQ here at 944, it's the 940 candle, well above its VWAP level, opened perfectly, broke out of that 13,200 resistance and was making a nice bullish move up off of off of high volume, both the NASDAQ and ES futures. So I entered at that 944 candle, entered at $13. And if we look here, it is a pretty clean move up. There wasn't a lot of pullback on this play. It was a pretty clean move up into that first profit target. So it was a really easy, clean scalp. We haven't had a lot of momentum like this in a while. And if we do, it's really quick scalp. So this is my go-to strategy. I wait for NASDAQ and ES futures to clear either a support or resistance level to the upside or downside. I watch my ticker on whatever level that I'm watching it on. Say, for example, SPX was that 41.50 level. I wait for a break of NASDAQ and ES futures first prior to taking the ticker on that break as well. If it's an initial move up or down, you don't want to enter on the initial move. You always want to wait for a pullback, especially if it's approaching a significant level like 41.50 on SPX. You always want to wait for a pullback, retest, and then entry on the pullback. That is a higher probability setup than you entering on the initial move. So I'm going to forward some of this, as I think I was like in this play for a few minutes. All right, here we go. So the premium is up about $2 here. I'm up about $2,000 on the play. I think I do scale out as it approaches that 41.60 level. There we go. I scaled out some of my position at 9.47 at $14.80. So at 9.47 here, this is your 9.46 candle into, so it touched 41.55 and then it was approaching the 41.60 level. This is the 9.45 candle on ES futures, opened beautifully above 41.80 here. Next target up on this was 41.90. If you can see here, look at this candle, a lot of selling pressure at that 13,250. Right after that, NASDAQ ended up rejecting. Same thing on ES futures, a lot of wicking to the upside, which signifies that there is selling pressure there. At that 41.90, ES futures also rejected. So if you have your futures levels charted properly, they come in very handy when you are in a trade, which is why I exit where I did on SPX. So if we look here, my first exit was at 9.47. And if we look here, my second exit on SPX was at 9.48 at $15.70. So another $1 up on the premium, which is really good. I was up about $2,300. And at this point, I had scaled out about 90% of my profit because I only had two contracts left. So my entry on SPX was 9.44, exits at 9.47 and 9.48. 9.48 was this candle here. As SPX was approaching that 41.60 level, I kept my runners until SPX hit about 41.64, which was my second profit target. And I usually hold my runners until my second profit target. At the same time, I started to see some rejection on ES futures at 9.55. You can see this is the 9.55 candle on SPX, and this is the 9.55 candle on NASDAQ and ES futures here as well. So there was some selling pressure sitting there. Let's see if I record. Oh, so I exited the rest of my SPX here. I exited my one more contract at 9.51. So this was this candle here. The 9.51 candle broke beautifully above 41.60, approaching that 41.64 level. I only held one contract at this point, so I locked 90%, only held one contract, and at that point I was up $2,300, and you can see first exit was $14.80, second exit was $15.70, and that third exit was at $17. We look here on that final exit at my runners here, so 944 entry, 947, 48, 951, and then 958 was my final exit. The last contract that I had, I exited at $17.90, so almost a $5 move up from the premium at $13. And if we go ahead and take a look, this is the 958 candle. So I exited this position right at the top of the move. It was approaching my 4164 target. ES futures or NASDAQ futures were approaching resistance as well. So this was the 955 candle here. It's the 958 candle. Also with this specific play as well, at 10 a.m. on Friday, we had consumer sentiment. So I didn't want to hold this position into consumer sentiment. So this actually worked out perfectly at 9:58, 2 minutes before 10 a.m. SPX approached my second profit target. Usually I don't wait sometimes for the stock to hit exactly at the profit target. If it's 1 or 2 points away from the profit target, I'm comfortable exiting there. You always want to exit on the push up or push down if you're in puts, because if you exit on the push up, you're optimizing your premium gain. If you try to wait for the next candle to open or a pullback, the premium, especially on a stock like SPX, which is already very volatile, your premium will get crushed. So I always like to exit on the push up or down because I get the highest premium fluctuation. And if you see here on that exit, I got a 1790 exit, which is higher than any of the other exits that I got. So you always want to exit on the push up. If I had waited for the next candle to open, more than likely I would have probably exited at way lower than $17.90. So on my second play on SPX, I was looking for puts below 4140 as both futures broke back below their VWAP level, and the pre-market low with ES futures pre-market low was 4162. And then NASDAQ, I just wanted to see it clear its VWAP into its pre-market low at 13,100. And I was watching SPX puts below 4140. Now if we go ahead and take a look. So here we go. I entered SPX puts at 1019. So at that 10 a.m. candle, market ended up reversing off of consumer sentiment. So 1019, let's go ahead. So I entered SPX at the break of this candle here. There was strong bearish momentum here below that 4140. If we go ahead and look at ES futures, this is the 1019 candle on ES. It was starting to break below 4162, which was the pre-market low. And then this is NASDAQ's 1019 candle breaking below its VWAP, opening into and below its VWAP as well here. My targets to the downside on this were 4135 and 4130 on SPX. So let's go ahead and take a look. So we can see here, it made a little bit of a move down here into 4135, and then I ended up getting caught in a pullback until it made the leg down to 4130. So let's go ahead and see. I'm just going to forward this because I don't want to waste any more time. So it was a very slow move, and you can see the premium just fluctuating because it wasn't a clean move down here. If we look on the 2 minute, it pulled back, and it pulled back very hard. So my stop on this was 41.45. It did pull back on that next 2 minute candle before continuing down. So that's why you see that premium fluctuation here, as the premium was moving around a lot. Oh, okay, here we go. I did record it. So you can see here my exits, my first exits on this, where I lock 80% of my profit, was at 1042. So from 1019 into 1042. And if we look here, it's the 1019 candle, and this is your 1042 candle right here as it moves into 4135 and into the 4130 level here. And the reason that I held this all the way through this fluctuation here is, if we go ahead and look, this is the 1020 candle here. If we look at ES futures, you can see that it's trending below its 9 EMA. Now, this is not a strong trend down, and it's not really trending at all. It's still consolidating, but if you look here on the 5 minute, it never broke above its 9 EMA. It was holding below its 9 EMA, and my stop on ES futures was 41.65. If we look here on the 5 minute, ES futures never broke and never held above 41.65. That 41.65 on ES futures was a nice level of resistance. It was a nice stop loss for me to follow as I was in this SPX play. At the same time here, SPX didn't even get close to my stop here at 41.45, and it was holding below its 21 EMA. If we go ahead and look at SPX on the 5-minute, same trend as ES futures, was not holding above its 9 EMA, trending below its 9 EMA. It wasn't a significant trend down, but overall it was still trending down. So I was comfortable holding this play and being patient with it. Honestly, this was really about being patient with the play and allowing the stock to make the move. Following your stop loss, my stop at 41.65 on ES futures, and catching a very, very quick scalp here. So I exited, like I said, 80% of my position on this candle move down as it approached 41.30. I only had held runners at that point. I didn't record me exiting my runners. So yeah, so looking at my runners, I exited my runners. So I exited my runners at 11.05. So let's go ahead and take a look where that 11.05 candle is. Right here. Yep. So I exited my runners as they pushed into the 41.30 level, and I exited my runners at $14.70. So if we look here, the 9:42 when I, or 10:42 when I exited, I entered this position at $12.60. At 10:42 they went to $14.90 and $15.20, and then my runners were exited at $14.70. So this was a really good profit. I believe I made a total of $2,000 on this trade as well. On the day, I made around $4,500. Let me take a look at my Discord here. So on the day, I made $4,512 with those two plays. You can see here I posted it, and we did trade this live in the Discord. So I was on voice trading both of these. So the first play you can see was a very clean scalp, very clean move up, waited for the pullback and then entered. The second play, it was a good move. However, the futures weren't giving me the strongest bearish move down, which is why I kind of got caught in the pullback. However, I followed my stop, ES futures 41.65 stop. You can see here, I watched ES and NASDAQ on the 5-minute. Both of them were still holding below their stops and their 9 EMA. I just needed one little significant move down. And overall, SPX went from 41.40 to my target of 41.30. And I exited with really, really good premium fluctuation on this. Made about $4,500 on the day off of two plays that I took. Alright guys, so that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, go ahead and comment them down below. If you have any future video suggestions or anything that you would like to see, also comment that down below as well. All of my social media is linked in the description box if you want to follow me on Instagram and Twitter. I do post more regularly on there as well. And then I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!